Welcome back to another exciting, engaging, exhilarating, educational, inspirational episode of Coffee Break. I'm your host, Trevor Macy, here with my co-host, Juan Rebolledo.
Juan Rebolledo, you left me speechless.
I did.
That introduction.
I have that effect on people, Juan.
Yeah, apparently.
So Chad is out today. Juan is here at the desk. Juan, some people may not be familiar with you because you were on one episode.
Yes.
But it's been a minute.
It's been a minute, and it was just kind of tell everyone that I was here.
Yeah.
I was hired into this position. That I walk into the wrong door and they say, "You're hired."
You're hired. So tell everybody about yourself. How'd you end up here in the public information unit?
Well, that's a difficult one. But who I am, again, I'm Officer Juan Rebolledo. Everybody calls me Officer Juan because I know my last name is very complicated.
Very complicated.
Yes, which I'm okay with that, honestly. I'm not from here, as you can tell. I had no idea. I am originally from Colombia, born and raised in Colombia.
Okay.
I came to the United States in my late 20s. I used to be an officer for the Colombian Air Force.
Really?
I did that for almost 11 years. And I was also a helicopter pilot.
Very cool. What kind of helicopter did you fly?
UH-1H and Blackhawks.
Blackhawks.
That was my last 6 years.
That's so cool.
Flying Blackhawks. Very dangerous, but I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. How long have you been on the department?
6 years now. I started my career with law enforcement when I was 45. I was in the academy, and I was probably the oldest one by at least 20 years.
Wow.
Yes.
And now you work in the public information unit.
Yes.
Why?
Well, one of the things that I like to do, what I did in my spare time, and even before I joined the department, was to work with our Hispanic community.
Okay.
So I volunteer for quite a bit of things, little roles here and there. I think the biggest one, it's when I became part of the organization. It's called Café con Leche.
Café con Leche.
Café con Leche.
Coffee with milk?
Coffee with milk, yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
I got it.
So this group of women and men, basically we now spend many months of the year planning an event that is focused to education and health.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a health fair that we do every year. Of course, we have to stop during the pandemic, but we provide different services to the Hispanic community. We make sure that everybody that is there either has a translator or speaks Spanish, because that's the main focus. And we offer the services for dentists, doctors, checkouts, mammograms. They do testing for diabetes, HIV, all kinds of stuff. We also provide training through OSHA, through the U.S. Department of Labor. Now the police department has a recruiting table, so we can kind of show our community that we are involved with them and that we want them to be part of our department.
Yeah. So
it went from a small group of women at the beginning to last time we did an event, if I'm not mistaken, we in a 4-hour period, we served more than 1,200 people.
Wow.
So on Saturdays, we're planning the next one for the next year. So that is one of the things that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
So going back to what you were saying, which is getting involved with the community, giving back to the community. I know some people say that it's a cliche for an officer to say that.
Right.
But I'm not from here.
Yeah.
I've been in Wichita for 22 years now. And this town has been great to me and my family. So I felt like I needed to get back to the community. So doing what I'm doing right now and in the position that I'm now, actually be able to do more than I was able to before.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
So long story short, that. Well, it wasn't that short, but
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and we're glad to have you on the unit.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see all the things you do. You're gonna have your own podcast coming up here soon, so stay
Yes.
tuned for that. And you guys are gonna get used to seeing and hearing this guy on our podcast. You're already on the radio.
Yes, I do.
Weekly.
I go to the radio
Yeah.
weekly. Share information to our Hispanic community.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna move to the podcast. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right, and it's gonna be 100% in
Spanish. Español.
Español. Oh,
Muy bien.
tu español es muy bueno.
No.
Your Spanish is
Necesito
awesome, so-
práctico.
We might have you there too.
Yeah. For those of you wondering, Officer Chad Ditch is off this week for training. He's not been fired yet. So he'll be back next week on the next episode, unless we just decide to kick him off and you and I can just run the show from here on out.
That is true.
So we're recording this on a Friday. It's been a pretty busy week. I don't really have any big announcements for this week.
It's been an odd week.
Yeah, it has been
it's
it's
ups and downs.
Yeah. The last week of August going into September, sports betting's legal now in Kansas, which
Yes.
is interesting. Did you make any bets last night?
No, I did not.
I
I'm
didn't
terrible
either.
about betting.
No,
And
I'm not.
Every time I do, I lose. So
Yeah, I'm not really a gambler. I like to spend my money on tangible things that I can eat mostly. So So we got a good guest today. Sergeant Ken Kimble is here from the Training Academy. He's going to talk about some of the things that he does there and some of his extracurricular events. I think he's here right now. So we'll get a quick refill, and we'll be right back with Sergeant Ken Kimble after this break. We are back with Sergeant Ken Kimble. Sergeant Kimble, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you here. Have you? We're going to ask you a question. We ask every guest this. You're not going to offend us.
Okay.
Have you seen an episode of the podcast before?
I have seen an episode of the podcast. It was
Okay.
directed to my attention, so I watched it, and I thought it was very interesting.
Very interesting. Well, that's high praise. I'll take that. So this is just kind of an opportunity for people to get to know people on the department.
Okay.
So we just want to ask, it's kind of who's the person rather than who's the officer or the supervisor or whatever. So can you tell us a little bit about who is Ken Kimble?
All right. Well, I'm a sergeant on the Wichita Police Department. I have been on 32 years. It sounds very long when you say it that way, but I've originally didn't come from Wichita, Kansas, but I did adapt it as my home.
Mm-hmm.
I was brought here by the Air Force, where I spent 8 years stationed out at McConnell working on a Titan II missile.
Wow.
But I knew I had a drive for law enforcement. It's in my family. My father and uncle both worked in New York, and that's just something I always wanted to do. I consider myself quite fortunate enough to be doing what I'm doing, so I have a lot that I do that gives back to the community, and I work on these projects annually because I think they're important and they help people.
So 32 years on the department. How many different areas have you worked on the department?
I've worked just about everywhere.
Okay.
Started on patrol. I worked east side, and then a new North Station was built, and I was part of the initial crew that moved into the patrol North Station.
Okay.
There's some interesting artwork in that building,
Yeah.
and my daughter drew a picture that's still hanging up in that building today.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So that is kind of cool.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I love night shift. I stayed on nights for 25 years. I spent my longest amount of time in the West Bureau, but I've worked on all 4 bureaus. I've been south twice, east, and west side. But I did go undercover for a while in the narcotics section, which was highly interesting considering how popular I am. And I'm not tooting my own horn for popularity, but a lot of people know who I am.
Right.
So it was difficult to maintain the, ability for people not to recognize me.
Right.
So while I was there, I wasn't allowed in any clubs,
Yeah.
any businesses, because the team knew once we walked in,
Yeah.
somebody would know it was, me.
What'd you have to do differently to make sure that the people didn't recognize you? Did you grow your beard out real
I
long?
tried. I made an attempt to. It was a poor attempt. So after a few months, I probably had what most people would have in a few weeks, and it just got uncomfortable. So I got rid of it. But I tried to dress down, which is also hard.
Yeah.
I didn't have any bad clothes. So my biggest change of my appearance was actually turning my hat on backwards. And I tell people that's all I had. Like, put a hat on backwards, and hopefully you don't recognize me.
It's like the Clark Kent effect. So
There you
just
go.
do one minor thing and hope nobody.
And that's, it actually did work.
Yeah.
I had very good cases, very successful working in the area that I worked in. I was only there for 10 months, but then I got promoted to sergeant, and that was another desire to get back out on the street.
Yeah.
And then I've been a sergeant now for 22 years.
So where all have you worked as a sergeant?
I moved around to all the bureaus then too. Okay. I went back to the North Bureau where I started.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for a while. Due to promotions and injuries, I went back to the South Station. And I was actually working in Patrol South when Old Town became Old Town.
Oh.
So I was one of the earlier supervisors working that area when they were growing the entertainment district. Mm-hmm. And then I got a chance to go out west, and I actually stayed there for quite some time. But my last year on the street was east.
Yeah.
So as a sergeant, I've been everywhere. Then a training position came up as a training coordinator for Wichita Police Department. It was very interesting and intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought after 25 years, it's time to try something different.
Yeah.
So I've been at the academy now since then.
How long has that been? Sorry.
I got there in 2015.
2015.
So it's
okay.
That also seems long now that you say it that way. But and then I have a lot of things that I do there that aren't something that people are very aware of.
Right.
Not only do I do the in-service training coordination, but I also have the Citizens Police Academy.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association, who meets monthly. I was in charge of the reserve section, and when I arrived, they had 7 active personnel, and I worked very hard, and I got them up to 23 very active people that are putting in insurmountable amount of hours every month that they're donating to the city of Wichita and the citizens of Wichita. So I have that, and I also have the private security fingerprinting section.
Right.
And I'm an adjunct professor at WSU Tech, helping teach new security officers very similar topics to what we learn.
Yeah. Do you ever stop working?
I haven't stopped yet. It's nonstop.
So impressive.
Yeah. You are by far, I think, one of the busiest people I've seen on the department, because I feel like I see you at the academy, I see you in Old Town, I see you all these different places.
Yeah. I'm everywhere.
You are everywhere.
Yeah, and I have a couple of projects, if you don't mind me talking about them.
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
I put on an annual car show every year. We do it to raise money for Make-A-Wish.
Mm-hmm.
I have not directly been affected by the needs for Make-A-Wish, but I know what the organization does and how important it is for families who are struggling. So this car show has been going on now for 29 years. This is not a fly-by-night new car show.
Right.
And we're getting ready for September 25th. It's a Sunday. We're going to be at Wichita State University, right along Hillside by 21st Street. And our main goal is to do whatever we can to raise money for Make-A-Wish. It gives us a great feeling to make a donation to the organization, because we know that in Kansas, those donation goes to Kansas kids, and it helps them get their wishes. And their wishes are all over the place. Used to be popular trips, but now sometimes they want to be an officer for a day. Mm-hmm. They want to meet a celebrity, a certain celebrity. So it's really interesting what the kids would like. So that's one of the projects that I do, and it's just near and dear to my heart, and I enjoy doing it. It's a lot of work. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
It's a big event.
An awful lot of work to put a car show together.
How many cars do you typically have at that car show?
We average 100. I made some additional contacts this year, so I'm hoping to have more. And with an average of about 100, we do pretty decent on what we are able to donate.
Right.
And a lot of it depends on weather, because it's an outdoor event. So that's the only thing that hurts us. But I had a rainy year where we still raised $900 in the rain, standing under tents. So, but the people came out with their cars, which it's rare to get a person with a classic show quality car to bring it out. But we thought the weather might break, so they came anyway, and that's what we did. So we're doing it again this year. I'm going to keep doing it because I just think it's just one of those things that reaches a large magnitude of the public. Mm-hmm. We have such a broad spectrum of people that come. We have people who are getting their first vehicle. I
Right.
mean, a regular personally owned vehicle is welcome in our car show because we will actually judge those separately than the fixed up cars and the classic cars and the muscle cars, you know, because now it gives you a chance to win a trophy, even though you think you don't have much of a vehicle. But I mean, any vehicle is welcome. We do cars, trucks, and motorcycles,
Yeah.
and we have prizes and raffles and just anything we can do to help, you know, the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
That's awesome. Do you have a car that you put in the car show?
Yes, I have a '79 Buick Regal, which is really decked out with 14 speakers and lights, and the vehicle looks brand new.
That's awesome.
And I've had it since 1979. So, but yeah, I keep it locked away.
And you said the date already, but what are the times if people want to come out?
The show is officially from noon to 4 on September 25th. But, you know, anybody that knows a car show, you come early to get your spot. You know, if you want shade, you better be there very early.
Right.
If not, you're going to be out in the middle of the parking lot where there are no trees. But, you know, it runs from 1 to 4. We start giving out trophies at 4 o'clock. There'll be food there,
Yeah.
Games there for kids. It's a family event, so people come and spend a day with us.
Awesome. And if people want to register their cars, is there a deadline to do that? Is it already passed? Or?
No, we do it day of show.
Okay.
We tried pre-registration, but there's a lot of moving parts involved in that.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier to have them do it. We actually mail out registration forms and flyers to anyone who attended the year before.
Mm-hmm.
That way they'll already have a registration form handy, and they can just fill it out, bring it to the table, and they're in. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been to one of the shows, and it was a really good time. Lots to see there, and
Yes.
lots of people to meet. And we talked to a guy last week
I was
we
about
were
to mention that.
we were talking to a guy over in Andover who
Uh-huh.
does car shows, and he was talking about your car show.
Okay.
Speaks very highly of
so,
you.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah. And this is a guy that goes to shows all over
Right.
the country and stuff. So.
One of the things I like about the show is the fact that it's been in the same place all these years.
Mhm.
It's an annual show. Everybody likes who we do it for, so that makes it a staple in the community. I've been asked to move it several times to different locations. I've had locations offered to me,
Mhm.
but being in the community at 21st and Hillside, I think that's a underrepresented neighborhood. You know, you do have the Shockers and a lot of Shocker events,
Right.
but this is neither of those. This is a community event
Yeah.
on a large campus in a neighborhood that draws a lot of people from that neighborhood. And so I like the fact that you can come on your bicycle. It's free to come to. It's free to attend.
Right.
It's just an open outdoor car show with some of the fanciest stuff you'll ever see.
So you do a lot of stuff, not just for the department, but for the community.
Yes.
It's probably hard to narrow down like something that's most rewarding for you, but can you try to tell us kind of what's the most rewarding thing about your job?
One of the things I do want to also bring up is I do an annual holiday feast.
Yes.
So that event started as I watched children suffer through the holiday seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I dealt with a family particular that had a lot of problems with one of the family members, and it was just before Christmas, and I'm looking at the kids, and I know they're not going to have a Christmas.
Right.
And I think all kids deserve a Christmas. So that year we brought the family to the station, and we gave them gifts that we paid for and helped them out. I mean, did it change their lives? You know, doubtful, because they still went back to the same environment they came from. But then we just started really brainstorming and trying to think of what we can do to make it even better.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're at the point now where we pick up families in party buses.
Yeah.
We bring them to a restaurant. Officers still go out and pick the prizes, the gifts, and wrap the gifts for them. It's been hugely successful. I've had one year where we were able to get over 40 kids shoes, and I mean much needed shoes.
Yeah.
So that gives me a great feeling because I saw the need, and then I just started doing it.
Yeah.
So it's been going on now. This will be 13 years
Wow.
that I've done this, and I actually look forward to doing it again. I've had countless amount of contacts with the families afterward,
Mm-hmm.
and they remember me from the event, and they're chosen by us
Right.
and by community members who see families struggling. They don't come to us and say, hey, can you help us?
Yeah.
We choose them, which catches them off guard when I call them on the phone and say, I want to do something for you and your family for Christmas. We do ask them what they would like and what they need, and that is the one time where you're actually getting need and not greed. They're telling you things they absolutely have to have just to make it day to day.
Yeah.
So we don't have any problem with winter clothes. They're huge because it's during the December month.
Right.
Shoes. We had a kid change into his shoes as soon as he walked into the door last year because his feet were sticking out of his shoes. So we didn't wait till Santa came. We grabbed the shoes out the box and we put them on him right then. So that's rewarding. I came from an inner city. I see what that's like. I've been on the street for so many years. I see what that's like. So anything we can do to help the public at probably the most difficult time, because holiday seasons can be great for some, but they can also be worrisome for others because they're unable to do what they want to do for their families. So we do it. That's just simple as that. We all chip in, we all shop, we all wrap, and we do everything we can to make sure they have a great day with police officers here in Wichita, and then that carries on to their futures. So that's one of the biggest things.
That's awesome.
That's impressive.
I love that we have the ability as a department to identify these people in the community that have these problems and try to find solutions to help them out, even if it's just a little bit. That's
And
one of my favorite things we do.
One year I actually did 2 adults who I've come in contact with over the years. They've attended the car show. And then when he was stricken with cancer, it just made it rough for them. And that was the first time I just had a couple come to the holiday feast. They had no kids, but their needs were no different. Their needs were exactly the same. They needed the clothes, they needed food. We provide them with buffet style food, and we send them home with a holiday meal. A lot of times it's a fully cooked turkey and ham and desserts and sides. So, not only are you with us that day, when you go home on Christmas Day, you have another, that's why I call it the holiday feast.
So if people want to get involved with any of your events, how can they get a hold of you?
They can email me. It's great. That's a good source of contact. I'm at Kimble, which is KKIMBLE at wichita.gov. We have an outpouring of support from the community. I have volunteers from the Citizens Police Academy that come and help and make these events happen, because I can't do it by myself. I'm one person, and as you mentioned earlier, I'm quite busy. But it's okay. I don't mind. My family's involved. We all feel just so much better when it's over, and we all just know that we did something that helped someone. So to us, that's very important.
You touched a little bit on the Citizens Police Academy. For people who don't know, can you talk a little bit about what that is?
Yes, that is. That turned out to be more of a wonderful program than I expected. Citizens from the community will sign up. We allow them in the class. We allow most of them in the class. There's some that we just can't have in our class because of things that are going on in their lives. But this is the biggest opportunity to learn about the Wichita Police Department and the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Department than you even get in the academy. And I tell them this on day one: you're going to learn more in 13 weeks than we learn in 24 weeks. Because in 24 weeks we learn how to do the job, but for them, they're going to find out what happens after the report was taken, what goes on at the jail past the booking desk, how is 911 actually operating, how do we train? We take them out to our range, we let them participate in a simulator, and that is a huge eye-opening experience for most people, because their only contact with police is generally on the news or on TV. So now they get to see it in real time, and they get to participate, and now the decision-making process becomes real to them. Even though they can't get hurt, I see them shaking, I see them get nervous, I see them refuse to go, because just for that moment, they're in our shoes. So the program runs for 13 weeks. We do it twice a year. We just started the fall session 2 weeks ago, so we're coming up on week 3, and they're going to learn about use of force. So that's the hottest topic in law enforcement right now. People want to know how, why, when force is used, and we'll have a good presentation on that. And then we'll go to the range, and then a lot of this stuff will start clicking together. But after 13 weeks, you either like us or don't, which is fine. Your opinion is yours to have. But we want you to know how things are really done, not the television version.
Right.
So we actually show some video clips that make them think one way, and then we'll show them another angle of the same video, and they're like, oh wow, that's not what I thought happened.
Right.
So, we want them to understand, homicide investigations, traffic crash investigations, because it's not magical that we catch criminals.
Right.
There's a lot of work that goes in, and there's a lot of behind the scenes. And you're in the academy, you don't learn how that happens.
Right.
You learn to take your report, get it in on time, call in your report, call in your tape, and get the paperwork to the right people. Right. Now the right people are coming to talk to the Citizen Police Academy to tell them how they do what they do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there's some benefits to being in the Citizen Police Academy too after you graduate, right? You can kind of help out with some things.
Yes, we allow people who've already been vetted to help us with a lot of projects, a lot of functions. One of the biggest is the camera room that watches Old Town. That's monitored by Citizen Police Academy personnel.
Yeah.
The night of the unfortunate incident a few weeks ago, I called the gentleman that was in there right then and told him, hey, this happened. Now you're a key part of this.
Right.
And having him up there, having his eyes up there above us, it helps the officers that are in the field.
Yeah.
Because it gives you several sets of eyes that we don't have on the street. So I've had them join the reserve unit. I've had them get on the police department. We've hired somebody from the Citizen Police Academy consistently the last 4 years. So now that they know so much more about us, they really want to do the job.
Yeah.
And that's great that we're actually getting new people, class after class. A gentleman that just graduated the last Citizen Police Academy class, it was 6 weeks later he started in the regular Police Academy class.
Wow.
It's just great having him. So
yeah, that's awesome. So same contact if people want to join the Citizen Police Academy, just send you an email.
Yeah, send me an email. There's an online application in wichita.gov. All applications come to myself and Kelly, and we start our list for the next class, and we usually average about 40 people per class. So there's a lot of interest in what we do. There's a lot of interest in law enforcement. Wichita is very supportive of law enforcement here, and they want to learn more, and we ask all of them why they're there, and they all pretty much give the same answer.
Yeah.
Because they want to learn. They want to find out how they can help their community, help the police department, and most of all, learn what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very good. So we play a game on the podcast. I don't know if you've seen the game we play. It's called One Has to Go.
Okay.
Today, I don't know if you knew this, but it's a very special day today. Today is National Blueberry Popsicle Day.
Interesting.
Probably one of the most, or the least well-known holidays ever. So today's One Has to Go. We have 4 different popsicle flavors. One of these has to disappear from your life forever. We've got the classic popsicle orange cherry grape. We got the bomb pop. We got the little juice popsicles that cut your mouth when you eat them. And we got the fudge pops. So if you have to get rid of one forever, which one's got to go?
Those sticks have to go.
The juice ones?
The juice, yes, they have to go. Past a certain age, shouldn't be anywhere else, though.
Really?
When you're young, they're great. Now, there's just enough in there to make you want more.
Yeah, so I get that.
And they're more messy than they need to be.
Yeah, they get sticky.
Yes.
If you have like a leak in them before you put them in the freezer.
Absolutely.
But I still I've always liked sucking the juice out and leaving the ice.
Leaving the ice behind, yes.
That was my favorite thing when I was a kid.
Exactly.
And you said the key words. You were a kid.
Yeah.
You have to grow old, but you don't have to grow up. Right?
Okay. Yeah, you're true. That's true.
I think I would get rid of the classic orange cherry grape popsicles.
Wow.
I don't ever eat those. You get rid of the fudge?
Yes.
You get rid of the fudge?
Yes.
Why would you do that?
It cannot be in a popsicle. It has to be something else.
What? Fudge pops are classic.
And
that's just the
summer days at my grandma's house. She would always have fudge pops.
Yeah.
And grape nuts.
Oh, wow. Those
you ever
are great.
Eat grape nuts?
Yes, those are great.
Put some sugar on those.
There you go.
It's such a good cereal.
The fudge-sicle, I can't imagine getting rid of that. I mean, you do need to clean up after that, too.
Yeah, those are messy.
Get all over your mouth, your hands, and your clothes.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay, though.
That's okay. You're absolutely right. That's the purpose of a popsicle.
Hopefully you're outside and you're close to a water source.
There
you
you
can
go.
jump in and wash off. Well, Sergeant Kimble, thank you so much.
All right.
I know you're a super busy guy. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be on the podcast with us. We appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I'm actually honored that you asked.
Well, of course.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you. And if you guys want to join the Citizens Police Academy, or you want information on that, or the car show, the holiday feast, email Sergeant Kimble,
Yep.
kkimble@wichita.gov. We're going to get a refill, and we'll be right back. And we're back. That was Sergeant Kimble. What a nice guy.
Yeah, what an amazing person.
Yeah,
an officer.
Yeah, I said it during the interview, but I'll say it again. He is like, without a doubt, he's got to be one of the busiest people I've ever known in my life. Because I see him at the academy every day. I see him in Old Town on the weekends working. He's always working.
There.
Yeah, that dude does not stop. And he does a lot of cool stuff for the community with the Citizens Police Academy, the holiday feast, the car show, organizing our mandatory training every year.
That has got to be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to schedule every officer on the department time to train.
Pick the topics that are relevant for that year.
Yeah.
Any training that you have to, enhance or get better. I don't know how he does it.
It's a tremendous amount of work. And the thing about him is he always seems so just chill.
Calm.
Like he never looks stressed.
No.
I'm jealous.
Even when he walks, when he talks, when he moves.
Because I get stressed out just having like 3-4 things on my plate on a given day, and I'm walking around like, but like he's just so chill, and he's chill to talk to. Super cool dude. So glad we finally got him on the podcast.
I was impressed with all the things that he does. I knew he was busy. I knew about the car show. I knew about the Citizens Police Academy, but holy cow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Busy dude. And we didn't touch on his nickname, Tree.
Yes.
Everybody calls him Tree.
No, what it goes, because there are
two
Kimble sergeants, so nobody calls him Sergeant Kimble.
Right.
It's
call him Tree, which is an interesting name. But so if you guys want information on the car show, like we said earlier, email Sergeant Kimble, Kimble, Kimble @wichita.gov. Speaking of emailing, we need questions to answer on the podcast. We didn't have any this week.
Interesting.
Unfortunately. I didn't check the YouTube comments, though. I probably should have done that because some people ask questions on there. But if you have questions, email us, policeweb@wichita.gov, or you can email me directly, Macy, MACY, @wichita.gov. Ask us questions. We can answer them on the podcast if you have questions about the police department, policing, favorite popsicle flavors, Star Wars characters. Juan, have you seen Star Wars?
Heck yeah.
Okay. So it's just one of us in the public information unit that is a loser and hasn't watched Star Wars. Just chat.
I don't know. It just kind of takes me to a different place.
A galaxy far away. Yeah.
It's so nice to be able to know.
Yeah. It's an escapist thing. Yeah.
Exactly. That's how I use it.
You don't want to watch stuff about real life all the time. Although Star Wars, we don't know that Star Wars didn't happen. You know what I mean? The universe is rapidly expanding. There are infinite galaxies and multiverses, and who knows, You
never know.
There could be a parallel universe right now where Chad and I are doing the podcast and you're gone for training.
Yeah. Or you don't like Star Wars and Chad is the one that likes it.
I don't want to be in that universe. That's the dark timeline.
Yes.
But we're running out of stuff to say. Just going to wrap up this podcast. Stay tuned next week. Chad will be back, and we'll have some more happenings in Coffee Break. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to follow us. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Wichita Police Department, social media. We'll have all the information you guys need about our department on there. Until next week, goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.